So what exactly will happen in Mississippi if this draft decision is the ultimate decision that comes down, which, as Pete Williams was just reporting, appears very likely at this point?
Well, I'm standing here right nearby the Women's Health Clinic, the Women's Health Organization. This is, of course, the last abortion clinic in the state of Mississippi. And this is, of course, the clinic that is at the center of the Supreme Court case. And people on the ground here tell me that while there is while women are getting the service that they need today and they're getting abortions today, the question is how long? And that goes straight to the question that you asked me. My understanding is that if Roe is overturned, that this clinic would then quickly be shut down. The other thing that would happen is that women in this area, women both in Mississippi but also in surrounding states, their access to abortion would be highly curtailed, highly restricted. Them that have these trigger laws that would go into effect. But then also when you add to that, there's a research institute that studies reproductive rights, and they say up to 26 states would immediately ban or heavily restrict abortion if Roe was overturned. Now, I should be telling you that I'm talking to people here on the ground, the ACLU of Mississippi. They are saying that they're devastated and gutted by this. They say that now the only other legal avenue, if this is overturned, would be to then codify Roe v. Wade, which is, of course, something that you said the president was talking about today. But I also just talked to a volunteer here. They call this the Pink House because it is bright pink. She said that the Pink House, that would not save the Pink House and the women who are depending on it for care. So as in Washington, they're talking about legislation and talking about what could come next. Here on the ground, where the policy meets the people, they're saying that that's just not going to be quick enough, that women here are going to be put in danger because they're going to be forced to have pregnancies and have children that they simply cannot afford or that they simply do not want, that it's not their choice anymore. I should also note that I've been talking to some supporters of this law, some people who are opponents of abortion's rights, and they tell me that not only are they celebrating what is coming from the Supreme Court, they also say that they're turning their gaze towards same-sex marriage. I was just talking to a protester here who has been protesting for decades, that's right, decades outside of this clinic, and I said, well, what are you going to do if this clinic shuts down and if you get what you want? He told me that he's going to turn his attention to now protesting same-sex marriage and hoping that the Supreme Court will then overturn that. So both sides of the political aisle here, as the midterms are approaching, they're both looking at what's on the horizon, and that is squarely same-sex marriage.
Really fascinating look ahead there, Yamiche. And just broadly speaking, it's not just Mississippi, and you touched on this, it's really the entire region there that could be impacted, particularly for those who live in incredibly rural areas, right?
That's right. Talking to the volunteer that has been escorting, she says, defending women that are going into this clinic. She says the women that come here, they're not going to be able to just get in their car and go somewhere else. Because if you look at this state, there's going to be Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, all of the states that are surrounding Mississippi right now, they also would be banning abortion. And I talked to another woman who had tears in her eyes and said that she went up to the volunteers to thank them for their work, because she said as a woman who's an attorney who has the means and resources, that she'll always be able to get an abortion because she'll be able to fly to one of what they're calling the 13 safe states, places that might continue to have abortion, like California or New York. But for a lot of vulnerable women, women who are poor, women of color, they will be forced to have pregnancies that they cannot afford to terminate, and pregnancies that will then turn into children that they cannot afford. And one other thing, someone told me here that Mississippi is a state that doesn't have a lot of safety nets, that the women who are going to be forced to have these children, they're going to have a really hard time trying to support those children with a state that has not done a lot of the things to extend the sort of benefits that women need in order to get more help and more care to be able to really support their families.